quiet. We're just waiting on our county clerk, so relax.
Right on cue.
Take your time. I think we're ready to begin, so we would ask everybody to please rise for our Pledge of Allegiance and then remain standing for our invocation. This morning we will be led in our Pledge of Allegiance by Harry Collins of Broomall.
Good morning. Is this one?
Yes, it is.
I pledge allegiance unto the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Harry. And then we'd ask you to please remain standing, and our invitation this morning will be delivered by Mary Eileen Dallator of Ridley Park.
Good morning, everyone. This is Dr. Brinley. Almighty God, we come together as a diverse people and differing abilities give us strength. Okay. Give us the strength and share your talents and gifts in your name. We are all in need of you and love we are your children. We are thankful for your love and opportunities. Please bless the gathering Delaware County Council and open those assembled here. We pray that kindness for wisdom County Council as they serve the people. Delaware County, thank you, our God, for your presence, not God's. May we be strengthened by your grace.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the March 14, 2018 meeting of Delaware County Council. We're happy to have so many people here today who recognize so many special residents of the county. We have an agenda that includes items for new to this week, and then for anybody that was interested last week's meeting, unfortunately it was canceled due to the snowstorm on Wednesday. So we have both the agenda items from last week's meeting and new items from this week's meeting. We want to start off just by announcing that this morning prior to our meeting, Delaware County Council hosted the family of Lance Corporal Ronald Mahoney III of Ridley Park. That was, we were there with his parents, Ronald and Holly Mahoney, and his sister Sarah. Joined us in order to post his picture on our tribute board. So we hope everybody, as they come in and out of the government center, whether it's just visiting or doing business, or for our employees that work here, take notice of the tribute board where we have so many men and women from Delaware County who are serving in our military, whether it be overseas or here at home Lance Corporal Mahoney's out in California training right now, but will be deployed again after that. So we want to honor him and just note that beginning of our meeting today. Move on to item number 5 on our agenda, and I'll turn to Councilman Madden, who will present a resolution on behalf of the County Council.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Department of Human Services Office of Intellectual Disabilities has been in existence for over 50 years and has served thousands of people and their families. Over the past 5 decades, the office has consistently provided the protection of the health and welfare of people with disabilities and has provided various services, including intake and registration services, assessment of needs, service referral and supports coordination, and the oversight of our many provider agencies. In 2010, Delaware County Council and the Department of Human Services announced a significant name change, changing from the Office of Mental Retardation to the Office of Intellectual Disabilities to reflect the preferences of advocates, consumers in the community, and the staff of the office that serves people with intellectual disabilities. Today, the Delaware County Office of Intellectual Disabilities continues to serve various populations, including children and adults with autism, and children up to age 9 with developmental disabilities likely to result in a diagnosis of intellectual disability. In order for the department's name to be reflective of the populations it now serves, they will be changing their name once again, this time to the Delaware County Office of Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities. The name changes correspond with the office's goal of optimal independence, inclusion, and quality of life for individuals with developmental and intellectual disabilities and their families. Today we have many individuals with us for this important announcement, including members of the office and Jana DeStefano, Administrator of the Delaware County Offices of Behavioral Health and Intellectual Disabilities. I'd now like to ask Dr. Susan Proulx, the county's Department Administrator for the Office of Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities, to say a few words about this announcement.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Madden. I appreciate that. I'm really thankful to have everyone here. We always have a packed house when we could do Intellectual Disabilities Month. And now we have the privilege of actually asking to change the name of our organization. Nancy Thaler is the Director of the Office of Developmental Programs at the state level. She has worked on the state level in this position previously, many, many years ago. She then went on to work nationally and internationally. Her involvement with those national and international organizations, as she has talked with those groups have gradually changed over from merely being an intellectual disability group to those that include individuals with autism and those with developmental disabilities. Children, specifically children with developmental disabilities. And her desire across the state of Pennsylvania is for Pennsylvania to become an intellectual and developmental disability state. And this would mirror what most states in the country, most states in the country are doing in order to reflect the populations that we serve and in order to be more inclusive. So we'd like to change our name to the Office of Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities to reflect this change and to support Nancy Thaler in her efforts to include other populations within the service that we have. So I really appreciate your support in this, and we'd like to request that name change.
Thank you. Every March, Delaware County Council declares Intellectual Disabilities Month by recognizing the contributions of people with intellectual disabilities who are valued coworkers, family members, and friends in our Delaware County community. Since this observance was started by President Ronald Reagan in 1987, much progress has been made. Working together, we've opened many doors, improving the lives of those living with disabilities. Today, people with intellectual disabilities are not only included in our public schools, they are now attending college programs. They are now employed in a broader segment of the workforce. In the Government Center and Courthouse Complex, we are proud of the members of our workforce who have intellectual disabilities and who are inspired by their amazing enthusiasm and dedication to their work. As you can see from the attendance today, we have a very diverse, active community of people with intellectual disabilities, and they are joined by their family, friends, employers, and advocates here in Delaware County. The Delaware County Office of Intellectual and Developmental Disabilities, the Delaware County Employment Forum, and the Delaware County Resource and Advocacy Organization all work collaboratively to support individuals with intellectual disabilities to live as fully included members of their communities. Additionally, some of our valued partners include the Delaware County Intermediate Unit and our school districts, agencies such as Elwyn, Devereaux, Melmark, and the Lindbergh, Community Interactions, the Office of Vocational Rehabilitation, Community Integrated Services, and creative programs like the New Avenue Foundation, and many more. If you are a member of one of these organizations who supports our intellectual disability community, I would now like to ask for you to stand and be recognized. It's great to welcome this large group of self-advocates, families, support staff, and others who all play a role in ensuring that people with intellectual disabilities are accepted and embraced as members of our Delaware County community. Today's crowd really demonstrates the level of understanding and support that we are privileged to have in our county. This year, we would like to specially recognize the individuals who live by examples as advocates and empower people with intellectual and developmental disabilities through their own success, self-determination, and independence. One of those individuals is advocate and Special Olympics athlete Timothy Cody of Upper Providence, who passed away earlier this year. As many of you will remember, Tim was involved in Delaware County Special Olympics for many years, competing in soccer, softball, and basketball. He was also an active member of the ARC, Delaware County, now called the Delaware County Advocacy and Resource Organization. He also worked at the Acme Media and Townhouse before it closed. He is survived by his devoted uncle, Larry Holliday of Upper Providence, who is here with us today. Today we are also celebrating the accomplishments of Special Olympics athlete and advocate Winifred Downey of Glen Olden Borough. Not only is Winnie an award-winning athlete, but she is also an advocate who has empowered and inspired others with disabilities through her confidence, independence, and contagious smile and positive attitude. In February, Winnie traveled to Washington, D.C., representing Pennsylvania's Special Olympics. There she gave a speech on Capitol Hill requesting funding for the Special Olympics, health, and unified sports partner with the Special Olympics. She truly is an inspiration, and we are proud to recognize her outstanding contributions. Both of these individuals certainly deserve our recognition for their leadership and for empowering individuals with intellectual disabilities to make choices in their lives and to make a difference. I'd now like to ask Dr. Susan Pruill to come forward and provide more information about more information about these outstanding individuals.
I have to say that I really want to express my humble thanks to everyone here, not only who has the disability and is out there showing their faces every day, doing everything that you possibly can to be full members of our society and not accepting being treated like a second-class citizen. This is extremely important. I think that everyone showing up today is really a testament to that, and all the providers and the advocates are the folks who really support them, and it's a privilege to be doing this work. I also wanted to say a few words about two people that we've selected to highlight this year. One of them is Tim Cody, and I have to say that I saw Tim Cody everywhere. Tim was a fixture in our community. If you were anywhere around the media area, you've run into Tim. Tim was one of the founding members of Speaking for the SOP Advocacy Group, Speaking for Ourselves. He was a Special Olympics athlete. He was also involved in advocacy. He came to every single legislative breakfast every year. And he was a wonderful advocate. And he and I would have many conversations in the Acme parking lot while he was collecting cards, or at the legislative breakfast, and all those other places where I would run into Tim. And I have to say that I want to recognize two people. One of them is the VIA was the group, the provider agency that was supporting Tim. And Sean Corp is here, and if you just want to raise your hand, I know this is difficult for you. Sean Corp worked very, very well with Tim, had a great relationship with him, and was with him in his final moments. So I really want, I really am going to give him a big hug before he leaves today for everything that he's done for Tim. The other person who's here and who made it possible for Tim to really be the guy that he was and to really support him, and I would see them in restaurants and all sorts of other places, is Mr. Larry Holliday. And Mr. Larry Holliday is Tim's uncle, and he was a fantastic support for Tim, and also quite a fixture in the community as well. So it's a pleasure to see him here today.
Thank you very much. I don't get up as fast as I used to. My Dr. Wertheimer, gets mad at me for that when I'm in his office, and he makes me get up with my arms folded like this. He said, "You can't hold on to anything." Thank you very much. Tim was very well known, as Sue said, around media. Everybody knew him. He was like a second mayor of media. Tim had jobs that he worked at night, and he used to come with me. I'm still working. I work in Center City. And I'd go to the train in the morning, and I would drop Tim off. He'd go with me many mornings. And he'd disappear into the coffee shops for his coffee and go here and go there. And so it was truly part of our lives, and it's wonderful memories. I try to think of the happy things, and I enjoyed every day. He went forward and enjoyed every day, and it's a wonderful way to be, to enjoy things and enjoy people. And he loved people. I had a couple times I was in Center City, Philadelphia. We were down maybe driving, going out for dinner, doesn't matter. Tim would roll down the car window and yell, "Yo, Ernie!" And I would say, "Tim, who is that?" It's a friend of mine. And he saw people everywhere. And he was very extroverted. I don't want to keep repeating, but it's certainly a good way to be. Very happy to be here this morning. Thank you very much for the proclamation for Tim. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Larry. Yeah, we all love Tim very much. Now I'd like to just say a few words about Winifred Downey. Winnie is just such a special person. You know, she was one of a couple of candidates who they were trying to select from Special Olympics in Pennsylvania to go to Capitol Hill to talk to legislators about Special Olympics. And out of the final three candidates, and she'll tell you a little bit about that, out of the final three candidates, she was selected to be the person to come and represent. And I think you'll figure out why in a couple of minutes. But she's really a spectacular person. I think that as a Special Olympics athlete and as a representative from Pennsylvania, she's a fantastic advocate and a representative for everyone here as a person who is going to get out there and make sure that people get what they need. Winnie, would you like to come up?
Last month I went to Washington, D.C. with my lovely mentor, Kathy Zordak from Clifton Heights. Kathy helps me with speeches. Kathy is my mentor. She has taken me to Global Master 1 and 2, Athlete 1, Healthy Athletes. Healthy Athletes is a true gets athletes in Special Olympics. We have 56 counties, and we have about 5 or 6 counties that have a fitness coordinator. And what a fitness coordinator does is to get the athletes involved to get them in eating healthy, getting them to get into a walking club or something. What we did on Capitol Hill, there was 50 states, all 50 states were represented. What we did is we talked to our state representatives and House of Representatives. We went from Casey to Toomey to all the senators, the House of Representatives. As we were walking down, we saw a TV star. His name was Stephen Colbert. Stephen was filming his show, and I didn't even know who Stephen Colbert. I don't watch Late Night. We took over for David Letterman. And Matt Aaron, who's the CEO of the Special Olympics of Pennsylvania, gave me a pair of socks, which looks like this. It has the 50-year slim. And I said, sure, I'll give it to him, sure. So I walked over to him really nicely and I said, excuse me, my name is Winnie Downey, I'm from Glenolda, Pennsylvania. I would like to give you a pair of the socks. Well, Tim Shriver was on his show a couple weeks ago with the socks that are about this very high and the shoelaces that said Special Olympic. So Stephen Colbert made fun of it because he was wearing these socks and shoelaces. So hopefully somebody will tell him. What I was doing at Capitol Hill was trying to help our healthy athletes and unified sports. What unified sports is a person with intellectual disabilities is comparable to a non-athlete that doesn't have a disability. It is in the schools. We have unified. We do not have unified in Delaware County, unfortunately. We're trying. And what we're trying to do is to get the senators to where there were Dr. Breslin, Jason Brettler and Matt Aaron was with us in Washington, D.C. to help out to get these senators to understand what Special Olympics. A lot of people don't know about the Special Olympics. And I am inviting you, all you councilmen and people, and in the audience, we are having a pancake breakfast on April 22nd at the Applebee's in Folsom. $8, all you can eat. Come on, it's great fun. They're having a movie night on the 25th at Penn State University.
No, 27th.
27th, sorry. 27th, and they're asking to have more volunteers, athletes. If you know somebody has an intellectual disability, please bring them. You know family members, please come and see the movie. It's about the soccer team, but please come and see it and sign up to be a volunteer. You meet wonderful athletes. The Villanova that comes in November. We would love for you guys to come. Please come and enjoy your day with Special Olympic athletes. It's the organization. I have two nephews that are intellectual disabilities. One is at the high end, one is at the low end. And one has Asperger's and one has autism. And they are super kids. So I have a friend who has it, and he is a super kid. So please, if you want to come and see our practices. There's a lot of practices, and we would love to see you come and see our lovely faces at our practices, or at Villanova, or come to Penn State. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Winnie. That was very inspiring. Thank you, members of council.
Thank you, Dr. Crowe.
Council would now like to invite all of our self-advocates to come forward to accept certificates for their contributions as members of our community. So, come on up.
All self-advocates. Big group. Come on up. All of them.
Oh, yeah.
Oliver, Kim Watson, Sandy here. Claire. Is there candy? Candy? Stay right there. All right, you guys ready? Right here? Okay, ready? All right. Great, thank you.
All right.
We're gonna get one more photo with Larry.
I just feel I gotta get that. I gotta get a picture of Winfrey. I gotta get a picture of Winfrey. Thanks.
All right, we'll return to our agenda at this time. And returning to our agenda, I'll recognize Vice Chair Marone for item number 7 on our agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Move for the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of February 2018.
There is a motion and there is a second for the approval of the minutes of the February 28, 2018 meeting. Is there any questions or discussions on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 8, recognize Steve Lucas, our Assistant Director of Purchasing, who can perhaps describe to us items 8, 9, and 10.
Good morning, members of council, Mr. Chairman. Today I'm requesting authorization to advertise for bids for fire alarm system replacement at the George W. Hill Correctional Facility and the Juvenile Detention Center.
I recognize Ms. Marone for a motion.
Move for the authorization to advertise for bids for fire alarm system replacement at the George W. Hill Correction Facility and the Juvenile Detention Center.
Second the motion.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion or questions on the motion? I know this was one of the items, the next 3 items were all on our agenda for last week's meeting, so we did have a chance to talk about it. It was described at the agenda meeting last week and also yesterday. But is there any further questions or discussion on it from council? Hearing none, all those in favor of item number 8 signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. All right, Mr. Lucas, how about number 9?
Approval to award contract to furnish and deliver serigraphic paper to the County of Delaware for 1 year to WB Mason Company, Inc. at the approximate total cost of $159,354.32.
Recognize Ms. Marone.
Move for the approval to award a contract to furnish and deliver xerographic paper from the County of Delaware for 1 year to WB Mason Company Incorporated at the approximate total cost of $159,354.32, subject to solicitor's approval.
Second the motion.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the motion?
Not necessarily with related just to this motion, but I just wanted to reiterate what was discussed yesterday, which was that we were going to try and determine what, if anything, we could do to reduce the paper usage in all departments of Delaware County.
Agreed. I know Mr. Lucas had described this. Once again, this is an item that was on last week's and yesterday's agenda. And I think you would describe WB Mason. This was competitively bid. WB Mason was the lowest responsible bidder for supplying paper. And this is for pretty much all our facilities throughout the county of Delaware.
Correct, Mr. Chairman.
Is there any further discussion or questions on the motion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Then item number 10, Mr. Lucas.
Approval to award contract to furnish and deliver flags for Veterans Affairs, County of Delaware, to Flag Zone LLC at the cost of $32,544.
Move for the approval to award a contract to furnish and deliver flags for Veterans Affairs for the County of Delaware to Flag Zone LLC at a cost of $32,544, subject to solicitor's approval.
Second motion.
All right, there's a motion and a second. Once again, we had the opportunity to discuss this before, but I know that part of our discussions were that these are flags that are furnished to the county. Not only do we distribute them along with grave markers for deceased veterans, but my understanding is the county has a program in conjunction with our American Legions and other veterans organizations that have been Memorial Day, an effort is made to place an American flag in the grave of every veteran that we're aware of here in Delaware County and all the cemeteries throughout the county. I know John Schaefer, the director of our Veterans Affairs Department, is here today. I don't know whether he's got any further information about that program or wanted to make a comment about it.
Yes, just to echo what the councilman McLean said. We provide all of the VFWs, American Legion, and that's all the different veterans organizations with flags and grave markers so they can distribute them Memorial Day, Veterans Day, to keep the county out of veterans' graves with their rank. That's the purpose of the contract.
Is there any further discussion or questions on the motion?
Just, and this is more of a general comment, I think the program itself, I really value what we do, and I appreciate what we're doing there. This was a situation which I think you said last week that there were 23 vendors that we sent, we reached out to, and we only got one bid. And when we have situations like that, you know, that's not ideal. We'd always like to have backup vendors, have competitive bidding. And I think, you know, as we talked about last week, it'd be good to have a system in place where when we have situations like that, there is a way of finding out from vendors who didn't bid why that was the case. We talked last week about, in this case, we want the flags to be made in the U.S. That makes sense to me. That might be one possible obstacle for some. I know bonding we talked about as being a hurdle. But again, I think this isn't just confined to this issue, but when we have situations where, you know, we have a non-competitive bidding situation, I'd like for us to be doing more to find out why that's the case, and if there's a change in the RFP that can be made in the future, we recognize that and perhaps change it.
Well, Councilman Madden, I spoke with Mary Ann Grace, and we did reach out, after the meeting, we did reach out to approximately half of the vendors that we had sent invitations to bid to. We received a variety of responses, many where we didn't feel that we could be competitive. One stated they couldn't meet the quantity that we requested, and another one stated that they couldn't meet our specifications, which led me to believe that they did not manufacture the flags in-house and not in the United States. So a couple of vendors have moved, so we updated our mailing list. So we did follow up.
That's good practice, thank you.
I think we probably all certainly agree. I mean, where we do have situations where we don't have a lot of bidding activity, it's always beneficial to reach out, and try to learn, you know, and improve for the future as to, you know, how we may be able to craft it, if we can, differently in the future to get more competitive bids and do better, get a better price for taxpayers. Is there any further discussion on item number 10?
Are there any federal or state programs that we could piggyback on? Surely governments all over the country must purchase flags in mass quantities.
Not that I'm aware, it hasn't been investigated. This is a contract that's been put out. We can certainly look into that, check out CoStar's or state contract, and maybe piggyback on that as we do with other services and goods.
I appreciate that.
If there's no other further discussion on item number 10, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Item number 11, we'll recognize the Director of our Fleet Management, Brian Kudak.
Good morning. Asking for approval to purchase a box truck from Fred Beans of Westchester for the laundry department in Fair Acres for a cost not to exceed $65,693. This truck purchase is on the CoStar's contract.
Recognize Ms. Marone.
Thank you, Mr. Hudak. Move for the approval to purchase one 2018 Ford F-650 truck with a 24-foot box and lift gate for Fair Acres Laundry Department from Fred Beans of Westchester on CoStar's contract number 025-013 for a price not to exceed $65,693, subject to solicitor's approval.
Second motion.
motion and a second. Is there discussion on the motion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Recognize Vice Chair Barone for item number 12.
Move for the approval of Central Tax Collection Department's request for refunds for the year 2017 county real estate taxes for 11 property owners due to the overpayment of taxes due.
Second motion.
All right, there's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion or questions on this motion? All right, if not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed say nay. The ayes have it. Number 13.
Move for the approval of Central Tax Collection Department's request for 17 court-ordered refunds for the years 2014 through 2017 for properties in the boroughs of Clifton Heights, Darby, Eddystone, Marcus Hook, Media, Ridley, and Yaden, and the townships of Concord, Marble, Newtown, Ridley, and Springfield, in the total amount of $62,344.90.
Second motion.
There's a motion and a second. Is there any question or discussion on the motion? Okay, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 14 is a proposed grant to the Delaware County Bar Association. I know we had some discussion regarding this agenda item at yesterday's meeting, and we received the request from the Bar Association along with some informational materials about their educational programs. I guess in subsequent discussions, I think we want to take a further look at it. And specifically, I'll recognize Councilman Madden if he had a motion on this item.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to move to table the approval of the grant for now, just pending some availability to meet with the executive director and learn more about the grant that's proposed here.
There is a motion to table. Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the motion to table? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it, so we'll table that item in order to gain some additional information. Item number 15.
Move for the approval to pay the annual dues to the County Commissioners Association of Pennsylvania, CCAP, in the amount of $32,682, subject to solicitor's approval.
Second motion.
All right, there's a motion and a second. Is there any discussion or questions on this motion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 16, happy to recognize our controller, Ms. Phillips.
Good morning. We're here to request, along with our IT department, a contract to allow the migration of information from the mainframe that's maintained by the county into the SAP system, which is really a county-wide enterprise system that allows for payroll and other payments made by the county. This will allow the retirement information to be moved to SAP. There is the vendor that is proposed has great experience with SAP, installing it for the county over time, and is often called for making customized changes to SAP that will benefit the county. We looked into, I asked about other vendors that might be available, and it really was a conclusion of everyone that is involved in this, that this is the right person to go to with a lot of experience, and that will save money in the long run. So we would ask for that approval, and also want to note that the mainframe is scheduled to be retired this summer. So there is a time constraint as well. So that we request approval of that contract.
Does the mainframe get a pension?
I hope not.
Recognize Ms. Barone for motion.
Move for the approval to enter into an agreement with Material Vision LLC for the purpose of migrating our retirement system from the mainframe to SAP, and also upgrading the retirement system for a cost of $39,230, subject to solicitor's approval.
Second motion.
A motion and a second. Is there any discussion on this matter? Questions?
I have one question, Ms. Phillips. Are there any other systems that need to be migrated off of our mainframe?
I would have to turn it over to our IT folks, Jerry O'Connor.
We'll recognize Jerry O'Connor, who's the Director of our Information Technology Department.
Good morning. Colleen, there is very few minor systems that we're clearing up at this moment. The tax system was one of our biggest systems out there. That's being worked on right now. We're left with a couple of small ones which we will clear up.
So we may see a couple of additional areas that may come before us in order to get everything moved over to SAP.
Right. We're trying to do a lot of this stuff in-house. So, that's what we're looking at now.
I just wanted to comment, I want to thank Mr. O'Connor and Ms. Bilks for collaborating to implement this project as we continue to move off of the old mainframe. You know, the colleges just aren't turning out COBOL programmers like they used to. We want to thank you. I think this will be a substantial upgrade for the administration of our pension and retirement system and hopefully save us money and be more secure also. So,
absolutely.
Thank you very much for your efforts. Is there any further discussion on item number 16? If not, all those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Is there any opposed? The ayes have it. Items number 17 and 18 are approvals to ratify labor contracts. We'll recognize the Director of Risk Management, Labor Relations, Tom McCosey, to describe those items.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of council. I brought before you for the approval of the park police contract, which is 2018 until 2020, December 31, 3% increase, and maintain the current benefits. 3%.
So this is a 3-year term for our independent park police unit. About how many members are involved?
45.
45. And the only major changes are just salary adjustments of 3% per year during the term.
That's got to maintain the existing benefit package.
And has this already been approved by the Park Police Union?
Has been approved and it's signed.
I'm sorry, I'll recognize Ms. Marone for a motion on this.
Move for the approval to ratify a contract between the County of Delaware and the Park Police Independent Union for a 3-year term retroactive to January 1, 2018 through December 31st, 2020, subject to solicitor's approval.
Second motion.
There's a motion and a second. Is there discussion or questions on the motion?
I have a question. Yes. My ongoing effort to come up with interesting questions. You said that we're going to maintain the existing benefit package. What sort of flexibility would we have to make any changes during the 3 years? That is, if we wanted to, I would imagine some changes would be material and some would not. So if you wanted to change the formulary for the RX plan, for instance, at the recommendation of to say, hey, this drug is no longer FDA approved, but we're going to put this one in, that would be okay. But others, if we wanted to say, let's change the deductible from $100 to $10,000, that would not.
That would require negotiations with the union. We have had modifications of the plans just because of plan administration that we have met with. Traditionally, as long as you're not reducing the plan, but if you're getting into deductibles and increasing co-pays for the individual employees, you would have to negotiate.
So I guess, yeah, so my question is,